in South Africa, we kill 18,000 people a year on our roads. I'm led to believe that in Kenya, we kill about 6,000 people on the road. That is unacceptable to anyone. In South Africa, we kill more people on our roads than people are killed by murder, assault, etc. So it's the number one killer on our roads in South Africa. And as a result of that, we had to investigate what are the causes of the accidents that happen on our roads. Obviously, one of the biggest factors is matatu accidents, where there are many people in a matatu who have an accident that is normally tragic. And we found out that probably up to 30% of the accidents on the road are due to some malfunction of a tire. Either a tire burst, or oversteering of the tire, or something like that. So it's really a significant portion of the accidents are due to tire situations. So we looked long and hard at where we could find a solution to making sure that at least some elements of driving are secure with the tire. And we went back in history a bit to find out that in the 1970s, when the British Army went to Ireland, they used to go along the roads in the Land Rovers. You remember the blue Land Rovers that the British Army used to use, the police used to use? And the IRA terrorists used to shoot the tires out of the vehicle. Hence they came up with a product which we call a tire band. But in fact the name tire band is not the correct name because it doesn't touch the tire. It has little to do with the tire. It actually should be called a well filler. And in order to understand the physics of a tire band, we need to go and look at how tubeless tires were designed and fitted to rims. And if we take the example in front of us here, we have a rim, okay, and a tubeless tire. Now this tubeless tire is in effect mostly steel wire covered with rubber. So it is a fixed component, it cannot stretch because of the steel. So in order to fit a tubeless tire to a rim, you have to have what people in the motor industry call a well, which is an indentation in the rim. Because what happens is you fold the tire onto the rim, you cannot stretch it. It's not possible to stretch it. So you fold the one side on, it goes into the well, and you fold the other side and it goes into the well. So now the tubeless tire is on the rim, you inflate it and off you go driving. And at some stage in your life, you're either going to have a puncture, or worse still, you're going to have a blowout. And one of the most dangerous things in a vehicle is having a blowout at a high speed, because most people don't know how to react when you have a blowout. They normally put on brakes. In a tubeless tire, the same thing happens as though you're putting it on the rim. It floats around on the rim, the one beat falls into the well, the tire comes off, and the rim strikes the surface of the road. Now, the moment the rim strikes the surface of the road, you have no control. I have not seen even a professional driver who can control a vehicle when the rim hits the road. So you can imagine a matatu, for example, driving along, 14 people, big heavy weights. The back left wheel touches the edge of the road, which is sharp. You have a blowout. The rim hits that side of the road, the matatu turns over. There's not even a question about it. What is the sad thing about that? Is that the people are thrown out of the matatu. They don't stay in the matatu. If you see a slow motion movie of a matatu accident, it is terrifying because the people are popping out of the matatu, out every window, because of the force. So the principle is that if this rim touches the road, you cannot control the vehicle. So what do we want to do? We want to keep some rubber between the rim and the road. That is what we want to do. Okay? That's all we are trying to do. So how do we do that? We have to keep the tire on the rim. So if we look at the physics aspect of this, how do we keep the tire on the rim? It's very simple. We have to fill the well, because it's physically impossible for the tire to come up if we fill the well. So simple. The logic is very, very simple. If you fill that well, after the tyre is on, the tyre is impossible to come on. Okay? But the secret is, how do you do that? Because you cannot stretch the tyre. So what we do is we have a mechanism. This is a small model. Normally we have a big one that you put the tyre on and you just squash it down and you can put the band on. Okay? For us to wind the tyre down. So you see now we squash the tyre down, and now we're going to fit the tyre band on. I'm not going to tie the truck yet. Just to show you how it fits. Okay. So we now put that on the rim. Okay. We then tighten it up so that it makes a clamp like that. Okay, and that's what a tyre band is. It clamps around there, and the only function it does is to cover up that well. That's the only function. So what is this piece of mechanism here? I call it a fancy clamp. That's all it is. Because it has no other responsibility other than to pull the well. Like that. Okay. So there's filling the well, and we tighten it up. The secret about this tyre bag is that originally it was designed in mild steel in the UK in the 1970s. And was brought to the market in the 1980s and 1990s. It was designed in mild steel because in the UK we don't have corrosive atmosphere. They brought it to Africa, and what happened? It rusted or it corroded onto the rim. So the product actually failed. So everybody said, no, tyre band doesn't work. In early 2000 we took this product and we said, let's design it to fit the modern technology of a motor car. In other words, is this suitable to put on a Mercedes-Benz? Okay? High technology vehicle. And we designed it to do just that. So this product is made of extruded aluminium. This aluminium is 1 grade less than aircraft aluminium. And I'll explain why in a moment. It is non-corrosive, so it cannot corrode to the vehicle. It's also very lightweight. Okay? It weighs less than 400 grams, so it does not affect the wheel balance or affect the wheel alignment. The components that keep it together are all stainless steel, high-grade stainless steel, so it cannot corrode. So this product will last longer than any vehicle. And in fact, you can either change it from one vehicle to another vehicle, provided the wheel size is the same. So now we have a product that will outlast the vehicle. For example, I drive the same vehicle for my business all the time. Each time I change the tyre bands to my new vehicle, and my tyre band set is now on its 3rd vehicle. Okay? So it outlasts the vehicle. As I said, it's lightweight, it's very strong, and it will last for many, many years. The reason why we designed it with such strong elements is because when you have a blowout in a tyre, the temperature inside the tyre can get up to 300 degrees. And the forces obviously in that tyre are very heavy. Okay? And even with the tyre band, sometimes you can get it bending there or bending there from the pressure inside of the tyre burst. The beauty that if your tyre band gets damaged, you bring it back to us, we give you a new one free of charge, because this is not supposed to be damaged at all. So what we have is the sizes that fit every rim size that is known. From 10 inch for a trailer, 12 inch for a caravan. The caravan is a very dangerous mechanism behind your car if it has a blowout, because the weight turns the car over as well. Okay? So we have 12 inch up to 19 inch for the big cruisers. And then obviously 22.5 inch, which is the standard size for a bus or a truck. With a bus or a truck, we only fit the steering wheel, because at the back they've got double wheels. So we don't want to waste the people's money. would be better if they fitted them all, but we just fit the steering wheels. Whereas in a Matatu, a car, we fit all the wheels. Okay? A Matatu particularly rolls over very quickly when you have a blowout. Okay? There's common cause, it's been investigated by the scientists, that the chances of a blowout in a Matatu at any higher speed than 60, it turns over. And in that Matatu, of the 14 people, at least 3 or 4 are seriously injured. So in South Africa, they have now passed a law that all new Matatus have to have this fitted to their wheels. It's now a regulation. What they are doing is seeing how the best way to implement the regulation without causing too much anxiety amongst the Matatu industry. As we know, they are different industry and they need to be treated in a different manner. So it is very simple to fit. You deflate the tire, you put the mechanism on top. This is a mobile one which can fit in your boot if you want to keep one. Or you take it to a fitment center where we have the machines and they just fit it very quickly. To fit a whole car, all 4 wheels from the time the car drives in until it drives out is normally 30 minutes. We would have the serviceability throughout the country. So if you're going to Nakuru and you have a puncture, you can stop in Nakuru, change your wheel at the service station and carry on. So that's very important that the serviceability is all there. Can also be fitted to tires with tubes. Okay? The tube tires are not a common occurrence anymore. When you see tubes, you normally find that people have fitted those tubes to a tubeless tire because it's had a punch out. Now to put a tube in a tubeless tire is extremely dangerous because there's a tubeless tire is designed to disperse the heat inside it. Now that you put a tube in, it cannot disperse the heat and the tube overheats and it actually blows as well. But you can fit it with a tube. All you do is you fit it in this normal way. You put a piece of duct tape to there, to there, there to there, and you inflate it. So it's not a problem. You must remember that the principle of this product is that once it's on and the tire is on, we cannot remove the tire until the band is removed. Okay? The tire cannot come off because that's the fundamental principle. So if you're going to go and now change your tire, you have to take the band off. Okay? Take it off. I won't take it off now because I want you to see what it's in there. You take your tire off, you put the new tire on, you put the band back on if you want. Very simple. What we will do now is that vehicle there on the far side, left hand side. It's Madam's vehicle, and I see her, she's very concerned again that I'm going to drive it. That left hand side, the front wheel and the back wheel are fitted with tire bands. Okay? What we'll try and do is the first time round, I'll come down the road, I will go over the spike with the back left tire, puncture it. Okay? So it deflates. I will drive up there and then I will cut it like it's had a blowout. So I'll cut a hole in the tire. Okay? I'll do some maneuvering so you can have a look and see how it works. Then we'll do the same for the front tire. So then we'll be driving on 2 flat tires. We'll do some maneuvering and then you can see how it works. If anybody after that does not believe me that it's safe and you can drive straight and you can control the vehicle, they can jump in the car with me and I'll show them and then they can even drive the car. Okay?
the rim.
Okay, so what are the benefits of this? Somebody can jump in with me now and come for a ride if they wish. Two, if you have a puncture, you can drive to a place of safety, which is convenient or safe, especially if you're a lady. Three is the rims do not get damaged. They do not touch the road, so you save your rims.
Completely.
Okay, completely. You see, now I'm driving on 2 flat tires. I can probably drive for 15 to 20 kilometers on these tires to a place to satisfy me. Sometimes we have done it with all 4 tires. The fastest we've been with all 4 tires is 80 kilometers an hour. Okay? The police car in South Africa we tested on did 180 kilometers an hour with a blowout to a bank robbery, and they didn't know they had a blowout. Okay, so anybody who wants to sit with me?
Yeah.
Okay, jump in.
Wait. The spikes out, huh? Now. Okay, go.
Front wheel, the beaters.
All right.
Okay, now here's a good photo. You can see the tires try to come off the rim to an extent where it's actually broken at the bead there. Okay? But the tire cannot come off the rim. It's physically impossible. So what you have now is the rubber has stayed between the rim and the road. And how did you drive? Huh?
Testimony.
Can you come and talk about it?
It's Kawaida driving. You didn't even feel like there was anything.
So you really had to go with that tire, huh? Okay, but it cannot come off the rim. So you've always got rubber. It's making a lot of noise. Yes, it's catching on there a little bit. We have to tidy that up. Sorry. But the tires on the road, you're steering normally, you're safe. Most important thing is you're safe. Okay? The distance you can travel on this tire depends on the quality of the tire, the heat, the road surface, and your driving. This young lady here is a bit reckless. She's smashing the tire up. Okay? But we can drive up to 20 kilometers on the flat tire to a place of safety or convenience. My wife has driven 44 kilometers with 2 back flats. I have only driven 7 because I'm a much more aggressive driver than a lady. So it depends on the driving and all the circumstances. The fact is, in South Africa, if a lady's stranded on the highway, within 10 minutes she's in trouble. Somebody's there to say hands up. So for her, she can just drive her vehicle home, park it in the driveway, phone her husband in the office and say, please come change the wheel. Okay, and she's safe. Are there any questions? Jane, please tell us what it looked like.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just Kawaida driving. I didn't even feel like there was anything wrong. Yeah, it's not. No. The steering is very firm. And it's just Kawaida driving.
Are you shocked to see the damage on the
I'm
tire
shocked when I didn't.
when you come out? This
What did you say I did?
I cannot repeat myself.
That's why you stop there like a policeman and you stop.
yeah.
Any more questions?
30% is tires, of which about 10% is blowouts, particularly matatu accidents. So let's say the figure that worked in South Africa, is we're playing with about 1,000 lives, between 600 and 1,000 lives a year from tire blowouts alone. More particularly in the matatu industry, but also in the normal vehicle industry where people are traveling at high speed. In South Africa, we travel at high speed, so obviously a blowout is a lot more of a concern. But let's take that, we say in South Africa is 1,000 lives. If we take a third of that and apply it to Kenya, there's maybe 400 lives a year. Now, I want anybody to tell me whether they can put a value to 400 lives, because I can't. Okay? So any device that is going to give us a chance of reducing that 400 down to maybe 100, for me is a good thing. Okay? But let's look at the other factors which are more important, or as important, is that when you have this product on your vehicle, you have a confidence. Jane now has driven the vehicle. She's going to have these bands on her vehicle. So she realizes that she now doesn't have to worry about a blowout or a puncture anymore. So she doesn't have to put on brakes. Her mind is confident. Her driving is now more confident. A blowout is now eliminated from her driving risk. Okay? Me, because I have experience with this, when I'm driving at high speed and I have a blowout, I don't even touch the brakes anymore because I just drive normally. So your propensity to reduce major accidents is very, very great. Okay, so it brings about a new confidence. Also gets people focused on the factor of road safety. So what we're saying is every bit of assistance you have in road safety reduces the propensity to have an accident which kills people. Does that answer your question, sir?
Okay, the other question is how much is it?
Okay, I need to bring my gentleman to
You can't cost a life. But for now, we're trying to retail it for $550 for the 4 tires.
Kenya shillings equivalent.
About 48 to about 50,000 for the 4 tires. But you cannot cost a life. So it depends on how you look at the whole scenario as of now. But as of now, we want to bring it to the people. People who have suffered death in Kenya, and how we are now want to reduce that carnage. And we felt if we could come by and show the people of Kenya, see how they can look at it. It depends on you pressmen who have to put it out there and see if we can save lives. Especially this time of the year where we have a lot of deaths coming through with the festival. And when you have a tire burst and you're in a dangerous place, you don't stop. Especially for the ladies, like he says, you drive on. And we don't do this damage. We can still get somewhere and get it changed and get another tire in. So we want to retail it at that price.
In terms of getting government approval?
We've done that already. A week ago, we went to the Ministry of Works and Transport, the engineers and roads. We've done a test, and it's been successful. The press wants to see the report. We'll be able to give it to them. We've done the KIPI. KIPI is the Kenya Industrial Properties Institution. Yesterday we got the SGS report, which now we are organizing to get the cabs. So we're there. All we don't know is whether there will be anybody trying to copy what we've done. I believe with all this, it has been patented in South Africa. We'll register it here. The registration we've done, we've started the registration, the patenting. So if they have to do that, it will be a while before they actually do the correct band.
In terms of ruling out?
We want every motorist to put these bans, because this is important for everybody's life, not just the matatu commuters, but anybody who drives a car should have something like this. We will roll it out to all the road users in the country. We'll roll it out to to the matatu, to the buses, which ply the long distances, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu. We will roll it out. It takes a while, but we'll make sure that we roll that out to all these users.
I was asking in terms of cases that you categorizing as fast targeting, PSP,
We don't want to categorize that. We want to give it to every motorist. But especially now, we want to do it to the matatu industry, especially, because they are the ones who have get into these problems oftenly than the normal drivers or normal motorists.
In terms of availability, is it available in the market already, or if it's not available, when do you intend to apply it in the market?
We like to roll it out in a week's time. We want to have it in the market within a week. We are in the process now of getting everything done. When Mike goes back on Thursday, he'll be able to send some of the goods. We'll try and get them through the air first before we start bringing them by ship. Because by air, freight air, there's no much difference. With the ship, it will take us another 8 weeks. With the air, it's 4 hours. So we'll see what, but we will roll it out next week somehow. Yeah.
And then in terms of the distribution of products, whom are you working with?
As of now, we've got so many distributors who've come through us, and we're in the process of now giving them distribution contracts. There are lots of people from Kisumu, Mombasa. There are lots of people. They are converging with us now, and we are giving them contracts. So we will be able to do this within no time. Yeah.
And I think an important factor